Hello and welcome back to the Manifest Destiny Daily. This is your host, Annette Brown, and today we'll be covering the raging wars going on against the Indians. As many of you know, new advancements in technology have made it possible to fill our manifest destiny and claim our country's land, but resistance from the Indians has led to some challenges. Some are protesting our efforts to relocate them to California, which has sparked what we know as the Indian Wars. More and more we're seeing violent resistance pop up all over the place. Just last Tuesday on November 29th in our Colorado territory, quite a large conflict arose within the Cheyenne and Arapaho Indians. They showed resistance during our efforts to transfer them to the new place in the California territory, so the noble John M. Shivington led over 200 local volunteers to remove them. It's thanks to the bravery of the public that we now have this opportunity to move west and claim our land. Now we have an exclusive message from Jackson Davids, one of our brave volunteers, who managed to successfully remove over 20 Indians. Here he is.
Thanks, Annette. It's a real honor to be on your show this fine morning. The removal was certainly not an easy job, but it's our role as citizens to serve our country and protect our land. Having savages on the land makes it too dangerous to safely settle down with your family, so we just did what we needed to do. This was a bloody event, to say the least. It was messy. We managed to kill over 200 of them, but we lost some of our own in the process. It was just a sacrifice that we had to make.
Wow, what a story. Thanks for sharing, Mr. Shivington, and thank you for your bravery. Next on the show, I think it'd be good to talk about what's on everyone's mind, the Homestead Act. Everyone can claim 160 acres of land. That's such an amazing prospect, and many families have flooded to these lands, as they should. I'm sure many of us have experienced what it's like to move west firsthand, but in case you need some more convincing, let's hear from one of the boomers now. Alyssa moved west with her family on April 23, 1889, when the land was officially open for settlement. Tell us a little about life on the west, Miss Alyssa.
Well, when we heard about the Homestead Act, we were elated. My family got our wagon ready and headed to the border. The line of wagons and horses spanned as far as the eye could see along the border, and we knew we would have to be fast. We ended up settling in Guthrie, settling up our tent with thousands of other settlers that night. There were a few conflicts, but it went pretty smoothly.
Wow, that's crazy. So just like that, you moved west?
Yep, just like that.
Were there any conflicts with Indians there?
God, no, none of them. Mostly because they were banned.
Ah, good. Wouldn't want them interfering. Well, thanks for being on the show. We'll be right back after a short break.
Have you or a loved one ever been injured or killed because of a faulty wagon? Were you just traveling to your plot of land in a land rush when, your baby gets thrown out of the wagon and dies, all because you had a poorly made wagon and the wheel fell off? If this has happened to you, you may be able to sue, and we can help you. Don't hesitate. Call BW Be Gone now. We'd sue. You should too.
Welcome back to Manifest Destiny Daily. I'm Annette Brown, your host. Next up, we have two families who claimed the same plot of land during the Oklahoma land rush on April 23rd. We have Florence Belkmore and Mary Louisa Carone. Supposedly, while one family was settling in, they saw another family coming and claiming the same land. We'll start with you, Florence.
Me and my family came to the land by horseback. We rushed across the lands already taken until we reached one that was free. We ran to an officer and placed a claim on the land. A wave of relief came upon me as my family started settling down. Off in the distance, I noticed people on the other side of the property. My husband yelled at them to get off the land. I heard them yell back and panic set in again as they comprehended what they said. They said, "This is our land." We came over to the family and started to argue over who owned the land. Hoping to settle the argument, we went to an officer to help us, but all he told us was that he couldn't help and someone should claim another piece of land. Even if we wanted to pick another piece of land to settle the argument, the land surrounding us were taken, and why should we risk leaving this land, which is rightfully ours?
Now we have Mary Louisa Carone here, part of the other family, to share her story. Mary Louisa, what is your experience?
When we came to the land, there was no one there. It was clearly free of any other settler or family. We honestly got that land fair and square. Before we went to an officer to place our claim, we decided to rest for a minute. Obviously, the other family saw that we hadn't yet claimed the land and decided to claim it for themselves. We made a claim quickly, but I assume they saw a different officer and made their claim. Then, to make it seem like we were the trespassers, they acted like they hadn't seen us until after they claimed the land. They yelled at us to get off their land, but we told them it was our land. It became chaos after that. We sensibly suggested that we should go see an officer, but we thought all was lost because they had already claimed the land. The officer unhelpfully told us that someone needed to claim a different piece of land. My family can't do that. We have 3 little ones to think about, and we can't move them like that again. But the officer insisted that one of us had to move. All the lands nearby have been claimed, so there was nowhere else to go. We asked the other family to consider our children, but they wouldn't. I am here to defend my family's claim on this land, but I fear this will take years, maybe a lifetime, to resolve.
There are many other families like this who tried to settle the same land, but at least they tried to claim the land freely given by the government. It's definitely a harder decision than arguments from the Indians. Indians never had any good arguments, just whining, I say. If the government gave this land so freely, we sure hope people respected the rules. We questioned both of the families, seeing if one of them came earlier than allowed to settle the land illegally, but both families claimed they hadn't.
Of course we didn't come in illegally. We started our name like every other honorable family. But if there was anyone who'd sneak in, it probably would be that other family.
What gives you the right to ask something like that? The nerve! Of course we didn't sneak in early. But if we had, we would have had good reason to. Our children need a good place to grow up. But we decided to play fair. Besides, if we had come in early, that land would already be ours, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Well, there you have it, folks. 2 families, 1 plot of land, 1 huge problem. Did one of those families sneak in early? Does one family deserve the land over the other? We'll let you decide. Come back tomorrow for more news updates on the Manifest Destiny Daily.